It started like any ordinary school trip, a crisp winter morning, the kind where the air smells of snow and pine and the mountain peaks glint like frozen diamonds under the rising sun. Students laughed, backpacks bouncing on their shoulders, voices echoing off the slopes as teachers called out reminders to stay together. Cameras flashed, snowballs flew, and the group stepped gingerly over the snow-crusted paths, oblivious to the hidden peril above them. No one noticed the subtle cracks forming high on the mountainside, tiny fissures in the snowpack that had been silently accumulating weight over weeks of snowfall. The sun's warmth had begun to destabilize certain layers, creating a trap that was invisible, silent, and deadly. At first, there was a faint sound, almost imperceptible. A whisper of snow shifting, a subtle groan of the mountain releasing pressure. A few students paused, craning their necks, trying to spot the source, joking nervously, "Did you hear that?" But before anyone could react, the sound intensified, growing into a low, rolling roar, like distant thunder magnified 100 times, vibrating through their bones. Panic set in instantly, even before the avalanche was fully visible. The wall of snow erupted from the mountainside in an unstoppable surge, thousands of tons of powder and ice accelerating downward with terrifying speed, faster than any human could flee. Students screamed, teachers shouted, backpacks flew, and the mountain seemed alive, moving with a cold, indifferent force. Feet slipped, hands clawed at rocks and trees. The snow didn't discriminate. It swept away anything in its path. Eyes filled with blinding white, lungs burned from inhaling powdery snow, and every second felt stretched into eternity as the avalanche consumed everything in its path. Some students were thrown clear, tumbling helplessly down the slope, their screams echoing, a mix of terror and disbelief. Others were swallowed instantly, trapped beneath layers of compacted snow, desperate for pockets of air, struggling against a weight that could crush bone and muscle in seconds. Teachers attempted to corral, to guide, to keep the group together, but the mountain ignored human rules, ignoring the very concept of survival as it reshaped the world in a blizzard of white. Then, almost as quickly as it began, the roar ceased. Silence descended over the slope, heavy and oppressive, blanketing the chaos beneath a pristine layer of snow. Those who had survived were scattered, some clinging to rocks, others half buried in snow, hearts hammering, lungs burning, bodies trembling. Rescue teams would later describe it as surreal. Backpacks and boots protruding from the snow like markers, clothing frozen in position, a scene of absolute chaos hidden beneath an immaculate surface. Miraculously, a few students had landed in small air pockets, some light enough to avoid the worst impact. They clawed frantically, gasping for breath, feeling the cold bite into skin and hope alike. Teachers, battered and frostbitten, shouted names, probing the snow, attempting to orchestrate rescue amid the blinding whiteness. Every second was crucial. Scientific studies confirm that survival under avalanche snow depends on immediate access to air. Suffocation is the leading cause of death within 15 minutes, yet with luck, pockets of air and rapid response, survival is possible for hours, even in sub-zero temperatures. Miraculously, in this disaster, courage, quick thinking, and sheer fortune converged. Some students had been thrown clear, escaping the crushing force. Others found tiny air pockets that allowed them to breathe while trapped. Rescue teams, equipped with probes, shovels, and avalanche dogs, arrived within what seemed like hours, but was in reality only minutes. They called out, listened for the faintest sounds, and began the painstaking process of digging out survivors, pulling them from the icy tomb of snow. Some were coughing, frostbitten, terrified, but alive. Others were not so fortunate, a grim reminder of the mountain's indifferent power. The psychological impact of such events lasts far longer than the physical danger. Survivors recount vivid memories of terror and disorientation, the surreal sensation of being swallowed by a wall of snow, the desperate struggle for breath, and the shocking realization that life can change in seconds. They describe forever being haunted by the contrast between the mountain's serene beauty and the lethal force hidden beneath its surface. Avalanches, though seemingly unpredictable, follow the immutable laws of physics. They are triggered by a combination of factors: unstable snow layers, heavy accumulation, steep slopes, and sudden warming. Preparation, awareness, proper equipment, and emergency training can mean the difference between life and death. In this incident, the extraordinary convergence of luck, rapid response, and resilience saved lives, yet also illustrated the merciless potential of nature. The mountain remains eternal, indifferent, beautiful, and deadly, while the memory of that day lingers like a shadow. Students and teachers alike carry the experience with them, a constant reminder of human vulnerability and courage, of life's fragility, and the razor-thin line between safety and catastrophe. Even as the adrenaline fades with time, the story remains etched in memory. The deafening roar of snow, the suffocating white, the frantic hands clawing through powder, the desperate cries echoing across frozen slopes. Every split-second decision mattered. Every choice, every instinct, every heartbeat contributed to survival. And while the avalanche could not distinguish between innocence or experience, panic or composure, it forced humanity to confront the raw, uncompromising power of nature, leaving behind lessons in preparedness, respect for natural forces, and the astonishing resilience of the human spirit. As you picture the frozen mountainside, the cascading avalanche, and the desperate struggle for life, it becomes clear that survival is not merely about luck. It is about awareness, courage, and the capacity to act in the briefest window of opportunity. And though the mountain swallowed so much that day, it also revealed extraordinary human bravery. Teachers and students, facing impossible odds, fought with hands and hearts, turning a potential tragedy into a story of hope, endurance, and remarkable resilience. And in the haunting silence after the avalanche passed, with snow settling over a scene of chaos, the survivors learned an unshakable truth. Life is fragile, nature is merciless, and the human will can be stronger than even the most unstoppable force. Every detail, from the cracking snow high above to the final rescue, reminds us that in a single moment, existence can change, and yet the courage to fight, to help, to survive, can leave stories of hope etched into the very heart of disaster, echoing the extraordinary power of resilience that endures long after the snow has melted.